I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, She Seems More Distant. Got an email here from a viewer. He says, "Hi Corey, my name is," well, I'm not going to say his name. He says, "I could really use your help. I just started dating this really awesome girl. I've seen her for close to a year, and I just finally asked her out recently." So you saw this girl and it took a year to work up the nerve. But hey, at least you fucking did it. And so he says, "We're dating now, and the times together I spend with her are amazing." Yeah, because you're probably like totally in love with her, or you have a really high level of interest in her. But what guys usually do in your situation, it's like you fantasize about this girl for a year, obviously, and then now you're dating her, you just automatically assume since she's with you that she feels the same way. And when you start thinking like that, that's usually when you start fucking up and not paying attention to her actions and her words, the tone of her voice, or noticing the fact that she's not touching you as much, or she's kind of being a little difficult and backing away. So he says, the problem is, here's the problem, is a few days back she seemed to become different. She didn't seem herself and she seems more distant. That tells me that she's starting to lose attraction and she's losing interest because you're probably chasing too much, and plus she's probably becoming really familiar with you. And so he says, as I got talking with her, she told me that she has an emotional barrier that she's always had with guys. That's basically her excuse for why she's pulling away, but the real reason is that simply her interest is dropping. And if you've read my book, there's a chapter in there where I talk about women are like cats. And if you, during the course of your relationship, maybe you're going through a tough time, or your boss was an asshole to you at work, or whatever it happens to be, and you just happen to go home, and you're like licking your wounds at the end of the day, and you're talking to her in a moment of weakness, you express weakness, and then you talk to her for a little while, then you notice that you don't hear from her for a day or two, or when you do talk to her, she's just not as excited to talk to you. It's because you expressed weakness, or she became too familiar with you. It could be a combination, especially if you spend a lot of time together. And where guys kind of flip out is because what happens is it bothers you when she's no longer as enthusiastic about you as you were. It's because you're liking her more, and she seems like she's kind of liking you less. But when women sense weakness in a man, or she feels like that you need her more than she needs you, they tend to back away and test. It's like they become bored, just like a cat. When a cat becomes bored, what does it do? It just takes off and roams the neighborhood. You can't run after it, you can't chase it, because it's just going to run away quicker. And so you just sit back, relax, and go about your life, and a few days later, or a few hours later, the cat shows up again, wants to sit in your lap, and starts purring again. And women are the same way. And so you just got to learn to let them come and go, because when a guy gets upset, it's because he's looking at the woman, or putting her on a pedestal, or treating her like a celebrity, and he perceives, or he causes himself to believe that his happiness comes from being with her, or having her in his life. And then when she stops not being in his life as much, then it starts to bother him, because then his identity becomes attached. In other words, oh, this is my girlfriend, I'm in a relationship with her, this is the person I spend most of my free time with, whatever it happens to be. And then when she's no longer doing the things that give you satisfaction and make you happy, then you feel like, oh, I'm not happy anymore because she's not in my life. No, the real reason is because you weren't happy to begin with. And the problem is, when you look to another person, or someone or something outside of yourself, whether it's a car or a house or money in the bank, whatever it happens to be, as the reason for your fulfillment and happiness, that's an attachment. And it's gonna lead to suffering at some point in your life, especially when the potential for losing what it is that you're attached to, you start experiencing it. And obviously that's what this guy's starting to experience. So when she tells you that she's got an emotional barrier, all it's communicating is that you're creating an emotional barrier to her by your behavior. And so that's when you just need to chill out, sit back, relax. All is well. You ever see James Bond sweating? Does he ever freak out? Does he ever worry? No. The future's never in doubt. Why? Because he's James Bond, and it always works out, and he always gets a girl. So why should he sweat? Therefore, that's the same philosophy and mentality that you should adopt in your own life. And don't take it personally. It's just, that's the way they are. You know, remember, women are emotional beings. especially at different times of the month, they're going to feel different emotions, and their emotions fluctuate based upon things that are going on in her life, but usually more directly related to how you're showing up in the relationship, whether you're acting strong and confident, or you're pursuing and chasing and acting needy because you're afraid you're going to lose her. And what you fear, you attract. The more you fear losing someone, or them not liking you, or changing their mind about you, the more you start to pursue and chase, and that behavior in and of itself communicates, I don't think I deserve you, and it just drives them away even further. So he says, she told me that normally she would detach herself, but she cares for me too much and doesn't want to lose me. How do I help her? How do I get her to open up to me? Well, it's simple. Talk to her. Hey, what's up? How are you? How was your day, honey? When you're hanging out with her, and since you just started dating this girl, the only thing you should be doing is contacting her once a week and arranging a date. And in between those dates, you shouldn't be doing anything. You should be, because if you're doing everything right when you're actually on the date and her level of attraction for you is growing, then what happens is over the course of several weeks, as you're doing everything right and you go out on date after date, 1 week after the next, as her interest rises, she starts to pursue you and chase you and call you. And so if you're like calling her at the beginning of her week to plan a date, and then usually by the third week, if you've done everything right, she won't want to wait until the following week to hear from you. You might go out with her on a Wednesday or Thursday, and she might shoot you an email or a text on a Saturday or a Sunday to see what you're up to, or just to say hello. And that's just her way of reaching out, and you should take that as a compliment, meaning, hey, I did something right, because now she's reaching out to me. And when she reaches out to you, hey, great to hear from you. When are you free to get together? I want to see you. And then you plan the next date. Your job as a man is just simply to create one fun-filled romantic opportunity for sex to happen after another. So he says, how can I get her to break that wall down she said she's had from past experiences? And it's obviously, probably other guys do the same thing. They don't know what they're doing, and they just push her away by acting needy. So if you want to know how to open her up, don't act needy. Stick to once a week. And what happens is, if you do more things right than wrong on your dates with her, if you're following what I teach in my book, then her interest is going to be going up, and she'll start reaching out to you more and more. And so after like the third, fourth week, what'll happen is then you'll start going out maybe like twice a week, and then you get into the fifth and sixth week, you might be seeing each other 3 times a week, and then after about 2 to 3 months, you're probably going to be she'll probably be calling you or texting you at least 2-3 times a day just to send you little messages, that kind of thing. But she should be doing 70 to 80% of the calling, texting, and pursuing. And if she's not doing that, you stick to the once a week thing and wait to hear from her. So that's all you need to do. But one thing I would encourage you to do is read my book over and over and over again to get familiar with it, because obviously there are things that you're doing that are pushing this girl away. And it's not the end of the world from what you've shared with me so far, but fast forward a month or 2 from now, if you keep acting this way, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up doing 100% of the pursuing, and then she's going to start breaking dates with you and acting flaky, and then she's going to say, I'm not ready for a relationship, and blah, 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 all this other kind of crap. So just take your time, relax, it's in the bag. Go to my website, and underneath the email sign-up box, there's a box that has a link that will take you to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, you can download one of their free e-reader apps for your smartphone, tablet device, or your computer. It only takes a matter of seconds to download and install the app and complete the purchase of my book. You'll be reading it in no time. If you have a question that you'd like me to answer in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, send me 1 or 2 paragraphs maximum, and just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen. Just follow the instructions. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters and the articles on my website and my ebook, you can show your appreciation by going to my website, and on the Wibbia toolbar, which will be at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.